Good morning, everyone. My name is Khalid. I am the MC for this briefing. On behalf of NUS, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of our esteemed suppliers who have taken the time out of their busy schedules to join us today. We'll be sharing our slides and recording files. You can obtain them from our suppliers portal, which we will share later. The agenda is as follows. We will start off the briefing with an opening address by Mr. Pang Chongning, our Chief Procurement Officer. Next, Chikun will take us through the key updates and the information of this briefing. Last but not least, we have the Q&A segment. Well, throughout the briefing, you may type in your question using the Q&A function on your screen. Please do not use your actual company's name or your name when typing in the questions. We would like all questions to be anonymous. Well, without further ado, we shall invite Mr. Pang for the opening address. Mr. Pang.
Thank you, Khalid. And a very good morning to all of you. I'm happy to see that there's so many of you on this call with us. Really, it is always happy to see such a overwhelming support from all of you. So first and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you and express our appreciation for all your continued partnership with NUS thus far. And today, when we actually showcase SAP Ariba, we wanted to use this new platform to enhance our visibility to the supply chain, so that in future there will be more result in better communication with all of you, and also hoping that they'll result in a better collaboration with all of you. But I was made known that among all of us here, not all of you are actually has been successfully on board into the SAP Ariba platform. So we designed this and we curated this call to help all of you as much as possible. For all of you who have been on board with us, I thank you. And for all of you who are waiting to come on board, we will provide as much resources and help on this call as much as possible. You believe me, my team has worked very hard for this provision of trying to get all of you to come on board with us, so that we can really enhance the collaboration between our two organizations, between our companies. So I want to encourage all of you to take this opportunity to really ask all the to make all your queries, to ask all the questions that you have, the difficulties, the pain point that you have, resulting on your constraint in joining us. So thank you once again. While I hand over the baton to Chikun. Thank you all.
Thanks, Mr. Pang. Let me run through with you 3 items. The first one is registration. Okay. So for the registration process, actually there are 3 steps. We noticed that a lot of suppliers actually only did the first step, which is to go to Ariba portal there and register for ANID. That is actually only the first step. There's actually step 2 and step 3, where step 2 is to register with NUS as a supplier. There will be questions asking for business information, and our finance will need banking information. So if you have not provided such information, means you have not complete step 2. Right now, step 3, right, is to establish a trading relationship with each suppliers, so that a PO can be sent to the supplier portal, to their account in supplier portal. So this process generally takes about close to 2 weeks, depending on whether there's any insufficient information provided or not. If you provide everything, it should complete pretty fast, but a lot of time is that the suppliers need us to guide them through the portal, how to fill up the information, all those. So I sincerely hope that every one of you can actually quickly email to cposuppliers@nus.edu with the information if you need help or if you have not registered. Now, for those of you who have not sure whether you have successfully registered, I have talked to my colleague, and we will be posting the list of companies company who have registered onto our supply portal shortly by end of the week. All right, latest end of the week. If earlier, we'll put it there. So do take note of it. I will share with you later when I run through the supply portal where you'll be shown. All right. So let's look at the numbers. So as of 5th April, we only have 1,345 suppliers who have registered successfully. That's only 16%. If you don't register with us, you cannot get PO. All right. And Sesame will not be there to issue PO anymore once we launch the system. Later, I'll talk about the live dates and all those, but it will be tentatively in May. So once we go live, there will be no more PO from Sesame. So if you're not registered, you will not get any PO. So if you are running an operation where you're supplying under a contract to NUS, whether it's for the medical side, whether it's for chemical or for whatever contract you have, if you do not register with us, you cannot receive any future POs and all those. So we really need everyone's help to register. All right. So please register now. All right. We need your help. Please register now. All right. Again, if you're not sure whether you registered, later I'll show you where to look out for your name. If your name is not on that list, please send an email to CPO suppliers with your name of your company, your contact email, and so on. Okay, it's in the slide. Now, this is the supply portal. All right, I'll run through the supply portal. Right? Can I see the supply portal? Yep. So the supply portal, you can go to the supply portal, nus.edu.sg/suppliers. All right. At the home page, you can find out more. All right. Go down. Okay. Now there are three parts here. Registration instruction. You click on it, you will have that. Scam alert is where we will share if NUS is aware of any ongoing scam, we will post the scam alert here so that to help you to be alert of to only all such scam alert. Most important is that all PO sent to Ariba will be found in your Ariba portal. So do not just respond to a PO via email. Please check that the same PO is available inside your supply portal. If it's available inside the supply portal, then that PO is genuine. Okay. Now announcement. Now announcement here, we have already put up the supplier briefing slide as of Monday. We will upload today briefing slide also. All right, today, right? Upload the briefing slide. Plus, we will do it in the announcement. All right, we will upload the list of registered supplier under announcement. So please come and look for it here later on. Okay, probably maybe towards end of the week, latest we should have the list up here. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Now, under information for suppliers, this is where we will provide more overview of how the whole registration process is. You can click on each of the button and read below the instruction. We also have the qualification process, participation in sourcing, how the sourcing works, all right, and also processing of the purchase order. Click on the purchasing of purchase order, all right? So you will receive purchase order, you can do order confirmation, then you may do optional ship notice. Then for us, we'll do good receipt, all right, and definitely we will do create invoice. As we mentioned the last time, all right, we will have you have to submit your invoice only after a successful good receipt. And I think in the last submit, sometime about few months back, all right, a number of suppliers have feedback their concern about, what if people don't do good receipt and so on, right? So let's go to About Us. Under About Us, contact us, all right? We have actually give you this, if you need assistance, all right, on how to help with the payment and good receipt, this is where you will come, all right. We created a form for us to help. So if you have problem with good receipt, maybe you already have the good receipt done, but the deal is done, but yet you don't see the good receipt and you cannot. So you will send this form to us and we will try to help you to chase the person to do the good receipt in the system. Similarly, for any invoice or payment issue, all right. But we need your PO number. The PO number definitely start with 8, all right? And then please fill in the details and also the information about your DO, if let's say there's a DO number and so on, okay? So that we can communicate this properly with the respective user to find out what's happened, whether it's a PO problem, payment problem, or whatsoever. Okay, let's go back to the next, to the earlier part. opportunities. Close the tab. Yep. So you click on opportunities. Okay, so this is where we have Sesame opportunities. All right. So as I mentioned during the last summit a few months back, Sesame will still be there for some of our open ITQ and tenders and so on. So it will be an interim period. So generally, we are looking at migrating all the tenders openings to Ariba probably sometime in July. Okay, but during this interim period, there may be Sesame opportunities. So we seek your help to please come here to Sesame platform to still look at the Sesame opportunities. Click on Ariba. So here is we're going to load up the Ariba opportunities. We have identified some pilot users for these Ariba opportunities. So we may have some IT tenders or even some of our catalog tenders we will be posting here. So do look out for these two areas for opportunities. All right. So Ariba opportunities, you need to respond with Ariba ANID. Right, to participate in the tender or ITQ. For Sesame, you have to follow the Sesame process. Right. We apologize for this interim process where we have opportunity on both sides. We'll try to combine them all over to Ariba by end of July. Right, so everything will move over. But in the interim, we seek your understanding to check both sides for opportunities. Okay. The last page is award. We will publish the Ariba award only for those tender that is covered under FTA, right? Only for the award of tender that's covered there. Now, most important for a lot of you is to go to the resource here. So here is where we have all the resource guide, how to log in, how to set up. Now, how to set up Supplier Portal is very important because this is the document that all of you should go in and how to set up your Supplier Portal, especially if this is your first time using Ariba. All right, so please go in there, learn how to set up. All right, so things like setup is to set up notification for your email in case a good receipt has been done, so you will notify who and who by email. If you receive a PO, who should be notified again by email. So you have to set up all this notification inside the system, right? So please go and look at the document. You will teach you how to go and set up. If you have any problem later on, I'll show you where's the email to contact us. But these are all the documents, right? How to add a new user account, how to transfer your administrator account for your Supplier Portal account, right? In case your administrator going to leave, you want to transfer the account before that. Same thing, how to view PO, how to perform order confirmation and shipping notice. Do note that shipping notice is optional, all right? So yeah, and then obviously how to create invoice and credit note and so on, all right? How to view invoice and so on, all right? All the information is here. The next one is actually NUS resources. So under NUS resources, we have our terms and condition, all right? We have some house rule and also our non-disclosure agreement. So we will put the link here so that in some of our tenders and all those, we'll put a link to here. So you can come here to look at what is our response terms and condition and so on. All right. So NUHS and Duke and all those, once they have their resources, we'll also put there. All right. So FAQ, let's look at FAQ. FAQ is where we try to answer most of your generic questions that we have gotten that most people have problem to. We'll try to answer here. So you can come here and take a look at some of the FAQ questions. Okay, let's go back to the contact us under about us. So under contact us, I just want to bring your attention again for any assistance with supplier registration, email to CPO suppliers. All right. Again, if you have already registered, when you check the list, if you are already registered, there's no need to email to us. Okay, but if you have problems how to register and all those, then please email to CPO suppliers with your company name, your contact email, and so on. Right? For feedback, if there's any feedback about the tendering process, or you have some feedback about how to improve the whole thing, please write to CPO. All right. I've shown you just now on the payment and good receipt issue. This is for us to help the suppliers if you have encountered issue with payment or good receipt. Okay. So we hear you. Thanks. We'll move on to the next part of the slide. For those of you who have questions, please type into the Q&A. My colleague will help to filter, and I will take those questions later on. All right, but if you have questions, please type in the Q&A. Okay, so let's look at some of the key dates. Okay, we're going to roll out small value purchase and catalog purchase from May 2023. The exact date will be announced in our supplier portal, all right, but it will be sometime in May. All right, so this is the tentative date we have. So do take note. So if you have not registered with NUS, we cannot issue a PO, whether it's for small value purchase or catalog purchase. So please register. If you have already registered, please don't submit. But you have not registered, please submit your registration. All right. So, you should email to CPO suppliers. Don't go to the website and submit a registration, because that will be counterproductive. Just email to CPO suppliers. We will try to check your name. If you are not registered, we will send you a link and guide you through the process. Okay, for sourcing, I mentioned there will be a pilot group. We will do sourcing in SAP Ariba. We will try out with some sourcing at Ariba. This is for us to try out the Ariba sourcing in case there's any technical issue. We will try to rectify them, so and so. But we have already done all our UAT. We just want to make sure that there should not be any problem. All right, but we will be publishing some tendering, some ITQ in Ariba for the pilot group from May. Right, the main part of the sourcing will still be at Sesame. All right, like I mentioned, we will use it probably until end of July. Right, then everything will move over to Ariba. So everything from sourcing, everything to purchase order, everything will be from Ariba from August 2023 onwards. Right. So for those suppliers, again, I mentioned, if you have not registered, please, we strongly encourage you to quickly take this opportunity to do the registration with us. We value you, and we really hope you can register in time so that we will not have any delay for our users. Thanks. Let me start on the question session now. How can we complete step 2 of registration? We already active account and with other customers, but we did not receive. Okay, for this question, my suggestion is that you email to CPO suppliers with your company name and contact registration. My guys will pick up your name and email you the link for step 2. So please email to CPO suppliers. Okay. How do we enter step 3 of registration? Can it be done on our end? Step 3 of the registration, again, same thing, all right, is our people will contact you and send you the link. Okay, so do, again, same thing. You are not done step 3, don't worry. All right, step 2 is more important than step 3. All right, but do let us know if you have already completed step 2. Don't worry, we will initiate the step 3 very soon. All right, so just wait for it. All right, if you still have not received it, probably by end of the month, email to CPO supplier says that you still have not received the link for step 3. We will follow up with you. Our company will register in your old system, which is Sesame. Do we still have to register? Yes, that is in Sesame. This is going to be in Ariba. So please go to CPO suppliers, email to CPO suppliers at nus.edu. You have to register. We have several billing entities under hospitality group. However, there are only 2 IC for this project. Please advise if we can use one email to register all billing entities, as we do not have 10 different email address for registration. Okay, maybe I ask my finance colleague Feng Yuan to help me to answer this question. Thanks.
Hi, I think it's all right to have one billing address, but do take note, because okay, billing address, it can have one, but I don't know in terms of bank accounts. you probably have different bank accounts for different entities. So do take note when you do your registration, be careful to input the bank details accordingly. So likewise, because in terms of, we also keep track of the remittance email address for the sending of the bank remittance advice. So when you do the updates, right, so you have to indicate your email address correctly so that the right informations so that payment can go to the right accounts, and you also get notified through the remittance email address. Yeah, thanks.
The next question is, can one company register for 2 administrator access? I will have my SAP colleague to help answer this question. Mina, over to you, Mina.
Hi, Chikon, thank you. Sorry, can you please help me to repeat the question?
The question is, can one company register for 2 administrator access? That means can one ANID has 2 administrator account?
Yes, thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Mina from SAP. So to answer the question, one supplier account or one ANID can only have one administrator, but you can create multiple sub-user under the same ANID, so the administrator can do that. So please refer to the supplier guides that NUS have published on the NUS supplier portal. There is a guide on how to create sub-user under one supplier account. So you can give access permissions accordingly to your internal team. So I hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Mina. There's also a document that talk about transfer administrator account. So please look out for the document. So if your administrator is leaving, please transfer the account before the administrator leave. Okay. Next question. Can we change ANID of the account? James, you want to help take this question?
If you're referring to using one ANID account to register under NUS, and then you have a change your mind, want to change to another ANID account, be it standard or enterprise, you can change. You just need to contact us and we will do the unlink for you. And if you want to downgrade your current account without unlinking, yes, you can do that. We will have an instruction in the supplier portal how to do the downgrade from enterprise to standard account. Yeah. So basically you can do it, but my advice is that once you use one ANID, think carefully which one you want to use, register it, because you affect not just step 1, you affect step 2 and step 3. So if you want to change it, do it before any PO is issued to you, and make sure that you don't owe any fee to SAP before you downgrade from enterprise to standard. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, James. Most important, take note, your ANID, the minute you want to change, if you already have an existing PO with us, we cannot delink already. So please settle which ANID you need to use, all right, before we go live. So please consider all these decisions carefully. I think during the last summit, we have actually talked about this. You need to have a discussion within your company on which ANID and all those you should use. And once you decide on that, that should be the one to do registration and deal with us moving forward. Okay. Can email send out informing us if our registration is complete? Actually, there is an email sent out to your company whenever registration is complete. Some of you may have missed it. Either you went to your junk mail or all those. We have actually gotten a lot of feedback on that. And because of that, we're going to post the list of registered company onto our announcement page so that you all can see who has been registered. So please refer to the announcement page probably by end of this week, the list of all companies who have successfully registered with us. Will we still receive email alerts on new PO? I mentioned just now, all right, that you can set up the supplier portal on how to configure email alerts whenever there's a new PO. Please refer to the document on our supplier portal on how to set up your supplier portal. Okay, we have 2 legal entities, but we only have 1 email. Is it possible?
Yes, it's possible. You can actually register 2 entities using one main account, but when you log in, you have to use a different email address, email format login name. Yeah, so that may not be a real email, but it's possible to have one main email to register, one ANID account to register to entity. Yes.
Maybe let me ask SAP to share a bit on this two legal entity, but we only have one email. SAP, Mina, do you have any concern on that? We have two legal entity. The question is, we have two legal entity, but we only have one email address. Is it possible?
Technically, it is possible, like James said, it is possible to register two different Ariba accounts using one email address. But yeah, please make sure that you distinguish the two accounts by two different username, two different login usernames. So when you log in, you are clear which account you're logging in or which entity that you're logging into.
Okay, thanks, Mina.
Yeah.
Okay, so, for the person who asked this question, I'll suggest that you have a chat with your company and your company rep, and please try to decide carefully which one you're going to use it to register with us. All right, and then we should work with one email address and that legal entity. Okay, next question. If there's no Ariba PO due to SVP, then can we still proceed to do e-invoicing via Ariba? You're talking about invoicing with invoicing without PO. Maybe I let Fong Yan help to answer this question.
Okay. Basically, Ariba only deals with PO invoices. So if it's actually under non-PO, please follow the current existing process whereby you send the invoice to the department in charge, and the department will basically verify the details and pass it to the AP team for payment processing. Thanks.
Thanks, Hong Yan. Will there be a chance that a same tender will be published on both Ariba and Sesame? If yes, do we submit our proposal via two? No, there will be no chance that the same tender will be published on both Ariba and Sesame. The reason is that there will be actually two separate teams doing with those tenders. So we will not publish on two. So you will publish either on Ariba or on Sesame. Like what I say is most of the tender will still be in Sesame. Only some of the pilot users we will publish the tender on Ariba. Will you be emailing a list of opportunity like what Sesame GBs is currently? No, there will be no emailing of opportunities. You need to go to the supplier portals to refer to the opportunities. In fact, in Sesame, you can also refer to the opportunities in Sesame on the website. All right, so we will not email opportunities. We are in the existing Sesame portal. Does it mean we'll automatically transit to Ariba in August? No. You first have to register in Sesame. There is no automatic transfer from Sesame to Ariba. You have to register in Ariba, and then after that, you will perform your transaction in Ariba. It is two totally different systems. Okay, next question. We do have login for both SAP, Ariba, and so do we need a login for NUS Supplier portal? NUS Supplier portal is a free for all website, informational only. There is no login. You can just go to the page nus.edu.sg/suppliers. It is an informational page for the supplier portal. All right. If you're talking about the Ariba portal, the Ariba supplier portal, yes, you need to register for ANID. So I assume when you say NUS supplier portal, that is the portal that I just shared just now, which is an informational portal. There is no login there. In Sesame, suppliers are not informed if the tender or ITQ have been awarded after we are posted in bid. We don't receive any news of the tender or ITQ award thereafter. Will they be addressed in Ariba? I have mentioned just now there will be an Ariba award, but we only will post award for only tenders that is above GPA value, GPA FTA value, which is about 760,000 today, right? So ITQ will not be published there. Do we need to attach the signed DO and PDF copy of our invoice as part of the submission? I presume you mean that when you submit your invoice, what is the document you need to submit? Maybe this one I'll let Fong Yan help to answer.
Okay, for invoice submission, you basically need to attach the invoice PDF copy. For the signed DO, it's not necessary, but if you actually want to attach as a supporting, we will accept that too. But basically, we will expect our user who actually performing the GR to basically upload the signed DO. So for invoice processing, I mean, when you submit invoice, you can just submit the PDF invoice. But if you want to add on other supporting documents, we will accept that too. Thanks.
Thanks, Fong Yan. All right. So do remember, as part of the good receipt, our users who receive the good receipt should have a copy of your signed DO, whether it's a signed DO or for services, some kind of acceptance form. They have to attach that as supporting document for doing good receipt. All right. So as a general rule, you should just do your so-called attach the PDF copy of the invoice from your company. That's all. Right? What is the timeline for good receipt to be performed after goods has been delivered? When can we start to submit requests for help on GRN? Generally, the users are expected to do the good receipt ASAP, but I think in general, we give them about 3 to 5 days, all right, maximum. All right, so if you don't hear or see any good receipt done after 5 days, please send help to us. Is your system linked to Invoice Now invoicing system? No. The answer is no. We have registered successfully, but we still receive PO through Sesame. How do we submit invoice? If you are still receiving PO via Sesame because we have not cut over to Ariba yet, you have to wait. I think just now during the live day, we have mentioned we will cut over in May. So once it starts in May, we will cut over all the POs to be issued only from Ariba. Now, for those PO that's being issued in Sesame, what's going to happen? Some of you may ask a question. For those PO that can be complete in Sesame, all right, the PO can be delivered and complete in Sesame by December 2023. We will continue to let the PO complete and finish it in Sesame. All right, but if there's outstanding items or this PO cannot be completed by December 2023, we will migrate the outstanding item to Ariba. All right, so do take note of that. So please make sure you have registered an account in Ariba. All right, why we are asking you to register is to prepare to make sure that once you're going to start to receive the PO, when we select the suppliers, your names is there. If you have not registered, when we try to look for your name, we cannot find your name, we cannot issue PO. For posting quotation for opportunities with other organizations, will the ANID as supplier portal be enough? Currently, I encounter error when trying out. It is not ready for us to bid for opportunity. Yes, we have not gone live for any sourcing items. So yes, you can't. Only when we have a sourcing event, it will be posted to on our opportunity portal in Ariba. You click on the link, it'll bring you to SAP Discovery. Then you can submit your quotation or whatever for that, unless you are invited for some quotation. All right, if not, we have not gone live at all yet, so you should not be able to do any of that actually. We are not suppliers. Always GST payment on behalf only. Why do we need to register to the portal? GST paid on behalf need to be settled before release the cargo to NUS. I think you are a logistic company, is it? Right.
Yeah, I think if you are just settling all this GST for us, you don't have to actually register an account at Ariba because there will not be any PO sent to you. So this actually falls under a non-PO process. So for the invoice, please liaise with the department under non-PO. You do not require to register a Ariba account. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. So only if you need a PO from us, then you need to register. All right. Is direct purchases still allowed? That will be actually our so-called small value purchase. Next question. How do we invoice in Ariba and what are the requirements? on the supplier portal, we actually have a document that talk about how to submit an invoice. Please refer to that document. All right, in our supplier portal is under the under resources, under SAP, under supplier resources. Okay, I think I've showed that just now at the supplier portal. Actually, a lot of your question, a lot of the number of questions on how to do this and all those, we have actually thought through the process. I actually prepared the guide already. So all the guides how to perform is actually on the portal. If a service is provided, will GRN be needed for payment? Yes. So if a service is provided, all right, you have to sign off with some kind of service sheet or worksheet or something like that, right? So that thing will be provided to the users, all right, to acknowledge the completion of the service. The user has to do a GRN, a good receipt for that also. Only upon completion of the goods receipt, then can you invoice. So whether it's a goods or a service, the user have to perform the good receipt before it invoice can be submitted. We provide term contract service to some NUS venue. PO was issued by Sesame and is currently ongoing. When Ariba is introduced and Sesame, how do we submit invoice for the existing PO for the term contract service that is issued by Sesame? Okay, as I mentioned, if your this contract ends by December 2023, then there's no problem, because whatever you submit in Sesame, you will continue the existing process. But if your term contract is beyond 2023, you have to register. The buyer who's working with you on this contract will transfer the outstanding services to be issued PO from Ariba, and then you will start invoicing from Ariba. Okay, so please take note of that. Again, you have to register, right, with NUS for this to happen. Okay, if invoicing and tender is different person, do I need to register for my colleague who is in charge of the tender only? For the tender process, if you submit, the person should have a user account, all right, to submit. All right, so just now I mentioned there is a way to create the user account. So please refer to the document that we have under the resources on how to create a user account for the person who will submit the tender information. Okay. It should be using the same ANID. So please do not set up a different ANID whenever you submit for tender or you do invoicing. Everything should be the same ANID. If you need, you create an additional user account. Do not use different ANID. We will have problem awarding the contract to you if it's a different ANID from what you're going to do invoicing and so on. So please always use one ANID. If we need additional user account, within the ANID, create additional user account. Okay, this is very important. We have checked with other SAP customer and all those. There are some customers or some suppliers, they actually they register with us another account, and when they submit tender, they use another ANID. This is going to be a big problem. So please always use the same ANID. Okay, I cannot say how much more important it is, but please only deal with us with one ANID. Okay. For the upload of invoice without GR, your form is to fill up one by one. Is it possible for supplier to send you a list instead of one by one, as we have many invoice with NUS? Maybe Fong Yuan, you want to help me on this question?
Okay, I think you're actually referring to the non-PO process. Okay, just like when you create your invoice, you actually create your invoice one by one. So that's why we also need your invoices, every PDF invoices. So when you send us a list, we cannot just based on the list to process an invoice. We need to see the invoice details. That's why we need all the individual PDF invoices. But basically, this one I think is actually related to the non-PO process, not related to the Ariba PO invoices. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Fong Yuan. With respect to unpaid invoices, will the open PO be uploaded to Ariba for submission in future if it's not settled in time? If it's unpaid invoices, all right, again, same thing, send us help through the through the form just now, we will try to help you to chase for the payment and all those. But as long as this, because if it's already have been completed in Sesame, we will not bring it over to Ariba. We will help to make sure that it is paid off. If the PO has already been closed in Sesame, we just want to make sure the payment is made. Send us the feedback. We will help you to chase on that. Okay. Can we go ahead and register based on current contract, even though renewal of contract can only take place after Ariba go live? Yes, please. You can go ahead and register with us. Registering with us, we have no problem. All right. Yeah. Please go ahead and register. Okay. Are there any fees involved to e-register as a supplier to NUS Ariba? Okay, this is about the SAP account you choose. I think in the last summit, we have actually talked about it. SAP, when you register for ANID, by default, when you first register, you'll be a standard account. Now, standard account is sufficient and there's no fee for standard account. It's sufficient to deal with us. But if you want to upgrade your account to enterprise account, because you want extra services from SAP. For example, you want to do some kind of special reporting and all those. Comparison is there. You can go to our supplier portal under SAP resources. There's a document that talks about the comparison about standard and enterprise account. Please go there and take a look at that. Okay, but for NUS, we only need standard account, which is no fee. So please do discuss carefully within your company to decide between standard and enterprise account, right? If you upgrade your account to enterprise and you want to downgrade it, you have to pay off the fee first. So please do consider carefully. The question about, is it necessary to upgrade to enterprise account? No, it's not necessary. It's your company decision because you wanted extra services from SAP for enterprise account. Can we view the award result even if we are not awarded? We will only publish the award result for only those tender that's above WTO value. Can we search within Ariba Discovery to find NUS opportunity? Yes, you can search also. Yes, you can search in Ariba Discovery if you are existing Ariba customer and you know how to search. Yes, you can go there and search. Today for testing, we actually publish some opportunities in Antarctica. If you are existing Ariba user, you know what I mean. So we publish to region. So please do not respond to those opportunities we publish to Antarctica region. Those are for testing purpose. Okay. The NUS FMS portal will not be available after Ariba started. FMS will still be available. All right, FMS will still be available and is expected to go live in sometime in September. All right, so if you are the supplier for FMS, please register your account. If you have not registered, we cannot even issue you PO from there. So if you are a supplier under the FMS, please register your account with Ariba. If not, we cannot issue PO for that. So all suppliers who are under FMS, please register with us under Ariba. Will the existing ITQ be affected? PO that is for 1 year. All ITQ and ITT will be migrated to Ariba from Sesame in July. Okay. Since it's an e-invoice entry on Ariba, is it a must upload a PDF invoice copy? The answer is yes, because the PDF invoice copy is a IRAS requirement. All right, for IRAS purpose. So yes, you still have to upload a PDF copy of the invoice. Will we be updated for those orders that cannot be complete in December 23 that will be migrated to Ariba? Yes, the respective buyers will contact you because we need to inform you and work with you on how to migrate the outstanding amount in the PO that cannot be complete by December 2023. Is partial invoicing and billing allowed in Ariba system? Yes, it's allowed. So for services, you can do partial payment by amount. For goods, you can do partial delivery by quantity. So maybe you order 5, you can deliver 3, you can do invoice for 3. When I need to upload invoice to Ariba but PO not found at Ariba, do we need to contact end user to enable PO or email? first of all, you need to find out why do you need to. First of all, okay, this question is a bit strange. As I mentioned, you should be receiving a PO first before you do any services. If you have to upload an invoice because there's no PO, means this is you probably have done services and the PO has not been issued. Then you have to inform the users. The users will have to contact the buyer to issue a retrospective PO. Then you can issue the invoice. All right. So as much as possible, we encourage suppliers to make sure that you should receive a PO first before you perform any services. All right, or deliver any goods. All right. Next, we have registered with Ariba suppliers with our customer before. So we do not need to register with NUS, correct? No, you have to register with NUS because what you registered is only the ANID. That's step 1. You still have to do step 2 and step 3. So this is a typical mistake that all suppliers thought. Oh, I registered with one SAP Ariba customer before. I don't need to. The answer is no. You only did step 1. You still need to do step 2 and 3. Okay, we have received email registration complete, but we cannot see NUS in our current relationship in Ariba. Will you send us a trading relationship? Yes, we'll be sending it you. All right. So all those that has registered step 2, we are going through the list and sending out the trading relationship. So do be patient. Again, if you still have not received the trading relationship request by end of the month, please email to CPO suppliers. Okay, we have an enterprise ANID. Can I create a new ANID just for NUS? Yes, you can create a new ANID, but please discuss it carefully within your company. As I mentioned, this will be for long term. Once you register with us, you cannot keep on changing and all those kind of things, because once we start issuing PO, it will be very, very difficult for us to unlink your ANID and so on. So please discuss carefully with your company and fix this, which ID you're going to use once and for all. Okay, is Ariba operate via mobile phone able to sync with desktop? I think this is a I don't know where this question is about, but we are going to use the desktop to use Ariba. If you are talking about using Ariba from your phone as a supplier, I think maybe as SAP, you want to answer this question, Mina?
Yes. Hi. As a supplier, there is a mobile app that you can use to log into your Ariba network supplier portal. But again, of course, when you perform transactions, for example, you need to process order, you need to submit invoices. So do consider which is the best platform for you to use, either mobile app or desktop, because, for example, a requirement from NUS to submit invoices, you need to attach the PDF invoice copy. Can you do that on a mobile app? Right. So of course, do consider which one is the best for your transactional processes. Thank you.
Thanks, Mina. We are sharing existing ANID when registering NUS. Seems like we only view the other entity transaction instead of NUS upon login. Is it because we are sharing the same ID? You can only view the other entity transaction because we have not started yet. All right, we have not issued anything. You just need to check whether the trading relationship has been established. All right, there is document about talking about how to check your trading relationship. So please check. All right, once the trading relationship is established, and once we go live and we send PO, that is in May. All right, then you will start seeing activity with NUS. Until then, you will not see any activity. If we have 2 billing entity, one with GST and one without, do we need 2 ANID? No. You should use one ANID. You can, during the registration, you can submit with 2 banking info, one with GST and one without GST, if there is. Or maybe Fong Yan, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, sorry. I think this question is a bit, when you talk about 2 billing entities, are you talking about 2 legal entities? Because if two legal entities, actually you imply you are under two companies. So each company should have your own ANID. Yeah, you should not combine. Yeah, because if you're talking about one billing entity, but when you bill based on the services, some of the services are with GST, some are without GST. I think that part is okay. But if you're talking about two separate legal entities having, which actually two separate billing entities, please register separately. Thanks.
Thanks, Feng Yuan. Sorry, I think I misunderstood the question. All right, so I think Feng Yuan have clarified on that. Can we issue two separate invoices for one PO? I don't know what you mean by two separate invoices for one PO. Usually for one PO, you will do one invoice if you do full receipt. But if you do partial receipt, yes, you will do partial invoicing. All right, so I'm not so sure what's the question about. All right, so a bit confusing. Feng Yuan, you want to help me on that?
Yeah, I think Chikun is correct. One PO, let's say you have partial delivery, then of course you can have partial receipts. That means you will have partial invoices for the partial GR, then we will actually pay based on invoices. So if you're talking about partial delivery, yes, you can have two separate invoices. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Feng Yuan. When shall we upload our invoice in Ariba after goods delivered to user? The minute that the user has performed good receipt in Ariba, you will be notified if you configure the system properly. Just now I mentioned you need to go and set up your portal to notify you once good receipt is done, to notify who are the people. Once the good receipt is done in the system, then you can submit the invoice, because you need to flip the PO into an invoice. All right. You can only do that after the GR has been done in SAP, not because your goods has been delivered. Okay. Next question. I have one order issued via Sesame. If the delivery make it after Ariba go live, shall I submit the invoice in Ariba? If you, okay, the question is a bit funny, but I think I try to answer it as best as I can. I assume you have made the delivery after Ariba go live. As long as your delivery is before December 2023, we will process the invoices, everything in Sesame as per current process. Only if you receive a PO via Ariba, then you invoice in Ariba. All right. So if you still is paying via the Sesame invoice, you will follow current process. There will be no change to the current PO process in Sesame. Okay, only if it's, and if you're going to move the PO to Ariba, as I mentioned just now, the buyer will contact you if we need to move it. But again, like what I say is that if your delivery is going to complete probably maybe in June or July, which is before December, then no worries, your PO will complete in Sesame and will pay off in Sesame as per current process. Okay, are we still able to bid in Ariba without registration in supplier portal? Yes. So in our NUS for bidding, for submission for our bid in the Ariba system, is that you don't need to register. You can do the bidding. Okay, but upon award you have to be registered. Okay. Any transaction fee involved per PO. Transaction fee only applies if you are enterprise account. So that's why I strongly advise that you need to decide whether you're going to use standard account or enterprise account. Please refer to the information in the supplier portal on the distinction between standard account and enterprise account, because there is a number of fees involved in the enterprise account. Partial invoicing is only applied to goods, or can partial invoice for services as well? Yes. So for example, I have a service item for performing professional services for 100K. I can do a receive by amount for 25,000. That is a partial receipt for services. And I can do another partial receipt maybe another few months down the road, I do phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4, and so on. So yes, you can do partial invoicing for services, provided you can do partial, okay. When we are doing the registration, SAP personnel will be liaising with us as well. We have received email from SAP staff, not sure if it's a scam. The person who is liaising with you are not SAP, they are from NUS. We have engaged a number of NUS staff, all right, who will call you, all right. There are about 3 of them today, all right, who are helping you. So they are not scam, right? If we are guiding you, just take note of the email domain, okay? Scammers don't use the email domain nus.edu.sg. Okay, James, you want to say something about this?
Oh yeah, so in regards to the SAP personnel, this most likely is it may be because your enterprise account. So some of the SAP people actually come and provide the additional service to you in regards to TRR activation. So that is a possibility. But if in doubt, please again email to CPO suppliers just to clarify, because I believe that it can be a scam. But we do know that SAP people do connect those customers that have an enterprise account during the TRR activation.
Okay, so as what James has said, only for enterprise account, SAP provides some services to assist you and all those. So if you are not enterprise account, your standard account, SAP will never contact you. All right. So for that, do take note of that. Do you accept prorated freight or other charges on invoices if there are multiple deliveries per PO, since it usually shown as one quantity on the PO? Feng Yan, you want to help me on that?
Okay, yeah. Actually, under Ariba, we actually have enhanced because this is likely a service, so you can do prorated charges. Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks. Currently, we submit the invoice hard copy together with delivery after switch to Ariba. Still the same, or need to submit on? Okay, so just want to repeat. The hard copy together with DO is only for Sesame PO. The minute we switch over to Ariba PO in May, it all have to be e-invoice, right? It is no longer the same. If your PO is in Ariba and you submit using hard copy, it will be rejected. Okay, so you have to submit using Ariba. Okay, do take note of that. So please make sure you register and go and familiarize yourself with the documentation that we have on Supplier Portal on how to do the different functions. Okay. Currently, our requester in NUS, FMS, has mentioned to us that we must receive the PO before any work begin. No PO equal no work to be carried out. Will this instruction continue when Ariba started? This will be basically from the FMS side. Khalid, you want to help me answer that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think. Sorry, can you hear me? Yeah. So currently with this, yes, it will still continue. So no PO, no work. But if let's say you are dealing with AE, the asset enhancement, sometimes they will issue you instruction via email. But of course, you do not issue an invoice when you haven't received the PO. So basically, if you receive an instruction via the works order or via email at a particular officer, right? Just wait for the PO, then you will issue the invoice. So just take note, like what Chico has mentioned, PO first, then invoice. Yep, thanks.
Thanks. Can we get reminder or notification to submit invoice after GN is submitted by user? As I mentioned, all right, you can configure, go to look at the document, how to set up Ariba Supplier Portal. We have actually the instruction there on how to configure notification once the user has done a GR. So please go and read the document and learn how to do your supply. I don't have any other questions submitted by everyone. All right, but most of the question I notice is that some of them are on how to use Ariba and how to do all this function. I strongly advise all the suppliers, together we are going on this journey. All right, and I know some of you are confused and all those. That's why we want you to register early. And at the same time, from now until when we go live, please go and prepare yourself by reading those documents that we have. That's why we want to launch the supplier portal as soon as possible with all the training guides uploaded there. Please go there, read it, and learn how to use it and so on. Okay, I don't have any other questions, and we thank everyone for coming for this session. Over back to you, Khalid.
Yep. Thanks, Chikun. Yep. As much as our team wants to reply all queries, but we have to come to the end of the briefing. Well, do not worry. If you need further assistance or have any question, as what Chico has mentioned, do not hesitate to reach out to us via the Supplier Portal website, which is shown on your screen. Do explore our portal where you can discover and find a wide range of suppliers related information, especially on the registration matters. Again, let me just repeat, there is no login ID required to access. You may want to copy the web address shown on your screen, or my colleagues actually put a so-called link in your text box where you can cut and paste for your own record. And do note, our slides and recording of this session will be uploaded in the website shortly. So thank you once again for joining us. We look forward to all vendors' engagement with us in the near future. Goodbye.